Hello everyone and welcome back to the island of the Lizard King. When we last left off we just exited or walked through the jungle and we entered some kind of marshland, some swampy area which stretches out in front of us as far as we can see, and we are extremely excited and happy to come here. We have come here. Suddenly, we hear the sound of squelching behind us, and we are surprised to see a strange creature run past us. It is small with green reptilian scales. Its arms are long and hang down to the ground, and it moves rapidly over the marsh on its webbed feet. It pays us no attention. Alright, we have two options, either to investigate this, or rather call out to this creature, or just ignore it and keep trudging west. I'm not afraid of such a small little creature, even if it's poisonous or venomous or something. So let's start with that one. Let's see what this is about. The creature halts suddenly and looks over its shoulder to stare at us in bewilderment. Its wide mouth opens and a pink forked tongue darts out and recoils just as quickly. Its big eyes look full of sorrow, but then we realize that the creature is a cunning marsh hopper. Despite their pathetic appearance, marsh hoppers will often lead unwary victims into the lairs of carnivorous marsh beasts for the price of a few scraps of meat. However, no creature knows how to cross treacherous marshlands better than a marsh hopper. The marsh hopper beckons us with its head to follow it across the marsh. Right. This is a spooky little creature, if I've ever seen one, and it doesn't seem so sorrowful. Anyway, we have two options, either to just continue west alone, so ignore it, like we previously did, or we could follow it, and since it's beckoning us with its head to follow it, it is clearly leading us into a lair of carnivorous marsh beasts, so let's prepare for a fight. However, I'm still willing to follow it because the other option might lead us to terrain which we might be unable to cross. So basically we could try to cross it on our own. No guarantee that we will not find any of the local fauna, unfriendly fauna, and we would still have to battle with the terrain. Whereas if we follow it, at the very least, hopefully the terrain itself will be less of an issue. So I'd much rather face something that we can hack at with our swords than just the terrain itself. So we are going to follow it actually into a trap. Sinking knee-deep in the slimy marsh, we struggle to keep up with the agile marsh hopper. Suddenly it turns south and once again beckons us to follow it. So towards our left, because we come from the east, if you recall. Well, our strategy hasn't changed. We could ignore it and just keep heading west towards our goal, but this is precisely why we're following it. Probably it knows a safer path, terrain-wise. So let's see what kind of beast it's luring us towards. After a short while, the marsh hopper turns west again, and we wonder whether it is tiring us out or to lead us into a trap, or whether it is picking the safest path through the marsh. I don't think these two options are mutually exclusive, so it might be leading us in a safe path towards danger. Our thoughts are soon answered as a massive beast rises out of the mire in front of us. It is a two-headed hydra which slithers towards us on its giant slug-like body, both of its heads stretching forward to bite us. Alright? This is quite a sight to behold. This is the second hydra we have met on our adventures. The first one was three-headed and presumably stronger than this one, so this is just a random wild beast. Still nothing to underestimate, and obviously we cannot run away in a swamp, so this is something. And we do not have a spear, so we must choose the appropriate option. As the hydra closes in on us, we reach for our sword and prepare to fight. Right, let's show this beast who's really the boss here. And it turns out that we are fighting the left head of the hydra first, so I guess we will be fighting its heads one at a time. And it is quite strong, as we had expected. It has a skill of 9 and a stamina of 9 as well. The skill level is scarier. I really hope that this head is the stronger one, or at the very least they are equally strong. I don't want to face anything on equal terms. So we theoretically have a very slight advantage. Outskill it by 1 point. Let's see how the fight goes. And we are going to suffer damage, that's for sure, so that's kind of unavoidable, but I hope we don't bleed out too much. Right. Alright, now that we have defeated the Hydra, left head, now we must face the Hydra, right head. Alright, just as we expected. And it's just as strong as the previous one, so let's hope this one turns out decently as well. We are not really doing great roll-wise, by the way, but so far neither does the Hydra. It's matching us, so that's something. Ouch. Alright. I'd say 2 hits, that's 4 stamina loss damage, is excellent against a beast like this. So let's see where we're at now. Alright. As the Hydra sinks down into the black mire, the Marsh Hopper takes flight. His treachery revealed. I'm pretty sad about this. I didn't mind the fight, but I would have liked it to lead us out of the swamp as well, right after it leading us into it. He runs off in great loping strides and is soon out of sight, unfortunately. There is nothing else to do except to trudge our way west. However, we have gone not more than 100 meters when we notice turbulence in the water to our right. That infernal marsh hopper has led us into a section of the marsh seething with carnivorous life. Well, again, that was only to be expected. I just hope that other than these dangerous carnivorous beasts, nothing else is out to kill us, like no poison gas or no terrain that we cannot cross, anything like of the sort. Swimming quickly towards us is a giant water snake, and we must fight for our life in the marshlands yet again. Alright, during this fight we must reduce our skill by 2 points because of our tiredness and lack of mobility compared with the snake. I don't think that's very fair, but it's not like we can do anything about it. I sincerely hope that this giant water snake is not as strong as the Hydra was, because then we're up for a whooping. And no, it's not really. It requires 3 hits to go down with 5 stamina points, and it has a skill of 6, which means we still outskill it by 2 points, so let's see how it goes. Wow, all these rolls are really pathetic on both sides, and we win without it scratching us. That's actually a good thing. We sheathe our sword and set off west again. Gradually, the ground becomes firmer underfoot, and soon we are out of the water and walking across a muddy plain. Ahead, we see 2 hills and decide to walk towards the gorge, dividing them. Alright, it seems that we have survived the swamp. I think our plan worked, kind of, sort of. So that we needed to fight some dangerous beasts. We didn't get anything out of it, so we didn't obtain any items whatsoever. In fact, we lost 4 stamina points. We suffered 2 hits, but that's fine. That's a sacrifice I'm willing to make, and in exchange we got through the swamp area without any further issues. And as I said, I don't think there is much loot to be had here in this area. So let's walk towards the gorge, not that we have any other options. The ground rises, and we are at last away from the difficult terrain. The jungle and marsh are behind us. Finally, that's actually great news. Grass and flowers make the island appear lush and beautiful, but we know we cannot afford to relax. It is not long before we reach the gorge and see that it runs between several hills in a westerly direction. Alright, we have 2 options: to walk down the gorge, or rather climb the hill to our right and try to cross the terrain like that. I think that being higher on elevation is always a better idea, because we get a better vantage point, and we can be we are less susceptible for ambushes. I don't mean the Lizard King's troops necessarily, but you know, ambushes. Even wild creatures can attack us in the gorge, and it's not like a great place to fight. So let's climb the hill to our right and let's see what happens then. We walk along the side of the hill, following the route of the gorge. Looking over to the hill on the far side of the gorge, we suddenly see a landslide start sending rocks and boulders crashing into the gorge. Well, I didn't expect that to happen, but at least it seems we have avoided this issue. Although we are not enjoying the tiring climb, we are relieved that we were not in the gorge. You can say that again. And we gain 1 luck point. Our luck was already at maximum at 12, so that's nothing, but at the very least we avoided this danger. Now we could risk walking down the gorge, but why would we do that? It seems that this climb has worked in our advantage so far. So let's keep on walking along the side of the hill above the gorge. The side of the hill is quite steep, and we lose our footing on some scree. Of course, that's awesome. We tumble over and slide down the hill. We must do a luck test, attribute test, but our luck is at 12, so we are guaranteed to succeed. And we do. We stretch out our arm and manage to grab a bush to stop ourselves rolling down the hill. Okay, we are agile like that. I like it. I like this outcome. Lying on the ground, we see a hollow under a rock, but it is too dark to see inside. Alright, we have two options, either to just ignore this hollow and walk carefully down into the gorge to continue west, or reach into the hollow. Well, let's see what it hides. Hopefully it doesn't hide a mousetrap, hopefully. As we slowly put our hand into the hole, fear grips us on hearing a familiar rattling sound. We try to retract our hand before the fangs of the rattlesnake sink into our arm, but it is too quick. Its poison is in our blood. Oh goody! We waste no time and cut the wound with our sword to draw the blood. And now we are asked if our score is 18 or below, but no, it is 20, so we must choose this option. Our constitution is strong, and the snake's venom does not affect us too badly. We lose 2 stamina points. And now the game asks us if we're still alive, but it's quite stupid. If we had more than 18 points of stamina and we lost 2, then we must surely be alive, right? So that's kind of pointless question. Anyway, we are down to 18 stamina points, which is not great, but what the hey? We still live. We bandage the wound with a piece of cloth and rest a while. Okay, that sounds like a good idea. I was hoping we would recuperate at least 1 point of this loss, but it doesn't seem like it. Now we could still ignore this hole, but we could also wish to drive the rattlesnake out of its hole with our sword. Vengeance! I like this idea. Let's stab this rattlesnake and exact revenge upon it for what it has done. Thrusting our sword into the rattlesnake's dark lair, we hear the dull clang of metal striking metal. We forget about the rattlesnake. Wow, we really brilliant. Like this guy that just randomly waltzed into the death trap dungeon because it was there and nobody else has come out. This guy must have suffered some serious head injuries when he was a child. So anyway, we forget about the rattlesnake and try to scrape the metal object out of the hole with our sword. Alright? At least we don't scrape it out with our hand. In the sunlight, we see a magnificent golden winged helmet. Alright, we could just ignore it or place the helmet on our head. Let's do that. Let's place this random magnificent golden winged helmet that we found in a rattlesnake's lair on our head. What possible damages could it cause? The helmet is over 100 years old and once belonged to a fabled warrior named Sog. What a stupid name. Who also practiced sorcery. Alright, so he was a battle mage or something like that. Wearing the helmet will cause any adversary to fear us so much that we will be able to win the first attack round of any battle. Oh, that's actually pretty neat. So that... wait. Alright, so no matter what happens, the first attack round is automatically won. So that means that basically we reduce the enemy's stamina, each and every enemy's stamina by 2 points, because we are guaranteed to hit once. And if we use luck, by 4 points, if we are lucky, obviously. Anyway, the adversary will only raise sufficient courage to fight back during the second attack round. Alright? Wearing our new armor with pride, We walk carefully down the hill into the gorge to continue west. Right, this guy must look extremely, well, strange, or like a tool with Sog's helmet on our head. And interestingly, it's not a piece of equipment for some reason, it's listed as others. And we also have obtained the rattlesnake bite, which is something to be proud of, I guess. Alright. Wearing our new armor with pride, we walk carefully down the hill into the gorge to continue west. Alright. We carefully track down the steep terrain, making our way to the bottom of the gorge. Okay? In the fine sand on the ground, we notice traces of old footprints leading out of the gorge. They end abruptly and in front of us, and there are signs of a struggle. Two pairs of footprints lead back down the gorge with two straight lines behind them, as though their owners have dragged a body behind them. Alright, that's disturbing. As we follow the trail of footprints, we catch sight of a shiny object in the sand. We prod it with our foot and see an oval snuff box made of brass. Picking it up, we see that it has a hinged lid. Right? We could just throw it back into the dust and continue to follow the footprints, or we could open the snuff box. I don't think it's cursed or trapped, well, or at least I don't think it's deadly. Let's open it. Let's see what's inside. Inside the snuff box, we find a small gold nugget. Alright, that's great already. And a piece of paper with a message scrawled in charcoal, which reads, "If you are reading this, it will mean that I have failed in my attempt to escape from the slave mines of the Lizard King. My raft is hidden beyond the gorge where the plain meets the river. If you are here to help us, please follow the river upstream until you see the mud huts. The slave mines are nearby, but beware the lizard men guards." Alright? We fold up this piece of paper, put it in our pocket together with the gold nugget, and continue to follow the footprints. That's a good idea. Let's proceed. Well, I mean, this snuff box turned out to be a great acquisition. We found a gold nugget as well as some information on where the slaves are, and I don't think they're very far now. I mean, considering. So let's see where we get to go. The ground underfoot becomes rockier, and the footprint trail we have been following disappears. In the distance, we hear a faint rumbling. Could it be the yawning of an awakening volcano? I mean, rather, of the awakening volcano. We hurry down the gorge, but are stopped in our tracks by the sight of a huge reptile blocking our path. We stare incredulously at the armored beast, which appears some 6 meters in length. It is a giant lizard, and it sees us as a source of food. Alright, it seems that the battle is inevitable. So let's see what this creature is made of. Let's fight it. Alright, it has a skill level of 8, so we outskill it by 2 points, but it's very tough. It has a stamina of 9, so it's as tough as one head, I mean, as either head of the Hydra was. So let's see how it goes. Ouch. Oh yes, our enemy is afraid of our mighty helmet and misses its attack. That's great. So basically, even though it actually would have hit us, instead we hit it. So rather, I was wrong. Its stamina starts with 7, and the first roll didn't count. The second one does, when that one was in our favor. Now this time it's really ouch. Hit us once. Hit us again. Alright, we killed it. We are down to 14 stamina points, but I guess this is what it is. We are slowly breathing out, and we don't have provisions, but we do have the potion of strength, so I'm keeping that for when we are really worn down. We step round the huge body of the giant lizard and press on down the gorge. At last, the gorge widens out to become a grassy plain, and the hills are soon behind us. Not far away, some 10 meters to our left, we see a pond where many birds are drinking. Alright? We are going to investigate this pond. We are not going to avoid it or ignore it, but that is going to have to wait until next time, because I'm going to make the cut of the video right here. And yeah, next time we start out by drinking at the pond. Hopefully it will restore some stamina to us. I thank you all for watching, and I hope you'll join me in the next episodes as well. Bye bye!